topic, a topic for the class. And anyway, so something that came to mind was July 4th, Independence Day, Declaration of Independence, and related to Korach. Okay. So what's the connection?
Yes.
What's the connection? But first, let's talk about Korach.
Okay.
So, last Parsha, we read about the Meraglim. The lesson that was learned from the Meraglim, high tech. The lesson that was learned from the Meraglim was that, well, let's talk a little bit about the lesson that was learned from the Meraglim. Even though I'm sure that you've all heard this many times, but it's always good to refresh. We read the Torah again. The spies, they said that the land is a great land, but we're not going to be able to conquer it. On a deeper level, the spies said the land is a great land, but the mission that we have to go into the world and to elevate the world to Hashem, that's it's not possible for us to be spiritual, holy people and go into such a place and get, it's not going to work. We're going to be swallowed up. We're going to get carried away by the farming and the wars, the military, the farming, all of the civil duties that we'll be having to be busy with, the earning a living. We won't be able to successfully keep the Torah and be a holy people and elevate the world. It's not going to work. Well, that turned out to be a big problem. The spies, they brought on a disaster, the whole generation to die in the desert. Why? What was wrong with their assessment? The problem with their assessment was that Hashem gave us the Torah, us here in the physical world. Hashem didn't want the Torah to be just for the angels. The Torah is specifically given to us in this world with the purpose of going to elevate the world and engaging with the world and not being in a bubble in the desert. Why? Because although love for Hashem is great, fear of Hashem is great, Torah study is great, but how do you bring that holiness into the world? It's through the action of mitzvahs. So action is what it's all about. And in the desert, they didn't have the action of the mitzvahs. In the desert, they had a very limited amount of mitzvahs that they can actually engage in. Most of the mitzvahs they couldn't do. Most of the mitzvahs are only after they enter the land of Israel. So to be spiritual without being involved in the world is not Judaism. That's not what Hashem wants of us. So, after learning this lesson, with the Meraglim, learning this lesson, Korach comes along and says, okay, I got it now. Makes sense. The most important thing is the action. Love for Hashem, awe of Hashem, Torah study, prayer. Those are great things, but that's not really the point. The point is the action of the mitzvahs. When it comes to action, Moshe Rabbeinu eats matzah, and I eat matzah. We can eat the same matzah, bake it in the same oven. The action, Aaron keeps Shabbos, and I keep Shabbos. Putting on tefillin, there's no difference between one person and another. We all are equal when it comes to action. And if the main idea and the main lesson that we learned from the spies was that action is the most important thing, actually doing the mitzvahs. So Korach says to Moshe, we are all holy. The holiness is engaging in the mitzvahs. Well, we are all equal when it comes to the doing. So if that's the case, then Moshe and Aaron, you should not be elevated above everybody else. Moshe and Aaron, your mitzvahs are equal to our mitzvahs. So why is Aaron the Kohen that gets to go and to do all these things in the Beis Hamikdash? We all want to be Kohanim. We all want to be like Aaron. To act, we can all act. Maybe we don't have the same high spiritual experience as Moshe and Aaron, but physical actions of mitzvahs, that we can all do. And he makes a good point. Right? The lesson was that action is important, so action, we're all equal, let's do it. So here's where I want to tie in the July 4th connection. The Declaration of Independence. How does it begin? In order to form a more perfect union, right? Right. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are what? Are created
equal.
Are created equal, right?
Stops after that.
Created equal. All people are created equal. I think Korach, on July 4th, he took out the bill of, the Declaration of Independence, and he came to Moshe and he said, we declare these truths to be maybe not self-evident, but after the Meraglim, it's clear that all people are created equal. Moshe, Aaron, all of us, we're all, and therefore, what are you elevating above everybody else? Celebrating the July 4th together with, so maybe the Declaration of Independence got the idea from Korach, that we're all equal, and why should, we have, Hashem is, amongst all of us. We're endowed by the Creator with the inalienable rights, right? So that's also Korach's attitude, is we have the right, the equal rights to go into the temple and do the service. The Kohen can go, I can go, we can all go. It shouldn't be something that's just for our own. And the commentators say that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he hears what Korach says, he says, you want that everybody should be able to be a Kohen and everybody should be able to go do the service? You know what? Rashi quotes the Medrash and to say that Moshe Rabbeinu says to them, I want it too. I also want it. I would love that. If you remember, we read recently in the Parsha when Moshe Rabbeinu says, please take, I need help. And Hashem takes the spirit of Moshe to 70 elders. And then there were 2 in the camp that are prophesizing. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, I wish everybody can be a prophet. Right? I have no problem with 2 people starting to say prophecy that weren't part of the ones that were called. If it was up to me, I'd love for everybody to be a prophet. Moshe Rabbeinu is also saying to Korach the same idea. It doesn't say it clearly in the verses, but the Medrash says that Moshe Rabbeinu is like, I would like that too. But what's the mistake here? The mistake is that Moshe Rabbeinu says to Korach that in Korach and Dasan and Aviram, he says, in the morning, Hashem will make known who is the one that's supposed to be the Kohen and who he's bringing close. If he's going to bring all of you close, well, we'll find out in the morning. Rashi comments on those words in the morning and says, what Moshe Rabbeinu was hinting to here was saying, in the morning we'll know, is that Hashem set boundaries. Hashem set day and night. There's the night, there's the day. Right? There's boundaries. On a simple level, there's boundaries. There's Kohen, there's a Levi, there's the Yisrael. And Hashem set up this system with these boundaries. That's just the way it is. In a Hasidic interpretation of Boiker, in the morning, God will make known, as Moshe Rabbeinu says to Korach, that you're right. The most important thing is the action. And action, we all can do equally. But morning Hashem will make known. What does morning mean? What's going to be in the morning? Well, in the story, in the morning, they bring the Ketores, and then they find out. What's the morning? Morning is light. When you do a mitzvah, you can do a mitzvah and just do the action of the mitzvah. And that's getting the mitzvah done, which is the most important thing. And that we all have equal. And then there's the kavanah that goes with the mitzvah. The motivation for the mitzvah. The emotion that's put into the mitzvah. And that varies from person to person. A tzaddik, somebody like Moshe, Aaron, their mitzvah, the physical part is the same. But their mitzvah is loaded with a different kind of kavanah. It's loaded with a very intense love and awe for God that's motivating that mitzvah, that's giving that mitzvah energy. And here, there's a difference. So, Korach is right, but the main thing is the action. That was the lesson from last week's Parsha. We have to go into the land of Israel, staying in the desert, just having great love and awe for Hashem by itself without using it to elevate the world and to bring the world to its purpose. That's the mistake that they made last week. But the realization that a mitzvah needs kavanah, and when it comes to kavanah, that's where there's a difference. That's what the lesson that Moshe Rabbeinu was teaching Korach. In the morning, Hashem will make known. In the morning, revelation, light. You can have a room that has everything in it, but it's dark. You can have food on the table. You can have furniture. The lights are off. And you have everything there. Nothing changes when you turn the light on, but everything changes. The main thing is to have the furniture, to have the food, to have what you need. But you can't compare having everything with the lights off to have everything with the light on. The morning changes it. And this is where Aaron and Moshe the leaders of Bnei Yisrael, are different. The truth is that the desire that Korach had is a good thing. As I mentioned before, Rashi says that Moshe Rabbeinu responded to Korach and said, "I'd like it too. I'd love it for everybody to be a Kohen." The problem was the way that Korach went about it. Korach could have made his point and been successful if he had changed the approach. Wanting to be a Kohen, wanting to be close to Hashem, to go in to do all that service, there's no problem with that. The problem was his insisting that Aaron should not be the Kohen Gadol. We don't want, why are you elevating yourself above everybody else? That was the problem. If the proper way would have been to attach themselves to Moshe and Aaron, to try to be close, to raise themselves to a higher level, try to be inspired by Moshe and Aaron, try to be elevated, and really have a strong desire to be doing the service in the Holy of Holies. And the desire is not only not a problem, it's a very good thing, and it's a great, desirable trait that they had, that they wanted to be going into the Holy of Holies, bringing Kataras, the service that is done, the holiest, highest service. To want to do that, to want to be close to Hashem, that's something that we're supposed to learn from. We should also want that. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, I encourage that. I want you, I want you to feel that way. That's a good thing. To actually act on it, that there's only to follow the guidelines that Hashem gave. Practically, only Aaron was able to actually walk in. Spiritually, though, we can all not only want it. The Rambam says about being a Levi. The Rambam talks about all of the laws about the Kohanim, the Leviim, and at the end of all those laws, the Rambam says that the tribe of Levi, they didn't get a portion in the land of Israel. They didn't get a piece of land. But their portion was to be in service of Hashem. They got cities. The cities were just a place to live rather than a farming opportunity. Not that you can live off. You can reside there, but not living off the land. So they weren't given a big piece of real estate. This is for you. Their life was supposed to be dedicated to Hashem. The Rambam says that not only the tribe of Levi has this opportunity, but anybody who so desires could be like a Levi and choose to be fully occupied in the life of service of Hashem. And really, this is, what today is called, rabbis, or after the Jews were exiled from the land of Israel, the tribe of Levi and everybody else were equal in that nobody had land, right? The Leviim didn't have land, then nobody else did, right? After we were kicked out of the land of Israel. So when that happened, it was more emphasized that you don't have to be a Levi to live a life of service to Hashem. And that's really a very, very interesting thing. The Rambam says whoever wants to dedicate their life to Hashem is welcome to. Isn't that what Korach was trying to say? Everybody, we're all holy. We should all have this opportunity. The difference, of course, is that Korach took it a step too far in wanting to actually, walk into the temple with the Ketores and do that service, to take Aaron out of his position, and anybody who wants comes in and does all of those practical works. Whereas the Rambam is not saying that if you want to be a Levi, you suddenly change your, you change which tribe you belong to, and now you're a Levi, and you now get the Maaser, or you can be upgraded to a Kohen, and now you give you have the rules of a Kohen. The idea of a Levi, yes.
But didn't Korach know that Aaron's sons died by not being proper in what they were doing? Therefore, there was a high risk of just demanding that position. You had to earn it in God's eyes, not in the community's eyes.
Very good point.
I mean, that already occurred. I mean, wouldn't that put the fear into you as to maybe I don't want that position?
So very, very good point. And I don't recall the answer to your question. I do recall the question, and that a question came with an answer. But part of or one explanation is that Korach and those 250 people, they knew the risk involved. They knew that either they're gonna walk away, as the status of a Kohen, but more likely that they will die. Exactly from the story of Nadav and Avihu. They were willing to die, like Nadav and Avihu. And they during the second Beis HaMikdash, or time of the second temple, they were the Talmud says that there was a time when they would auction off the right to be the Kohen Gadol for money. The governors that were corrupt, and they would, to increase their money, and say whichever Kohen gives, bigger sum of money to the coffers of the governor will be the Kohen Gadol. And if you're a Kohen Gadol and you're not fit, what happens? You go in and you die. And yeah, that many Kohanim, the Talmud says that they would actually go in and they would die. And the next year, there was again a bid for the highest bidder. They wanted to do this honor of going in to be the Kohen Gadol, even if they knew that was a one-way ticket. You go in, but then you get pulled out. Now that was even during the time of the Second Temple, and people that were clearly not at such a great level, because if they were at that great level, being a Kohen, if you're chosen to be a Kohen Gadol, it's okay. The problem was that they weren't at that level. But if somebody is at that level spiritually, they have such a strong relationship with Hashem and such a strong passion to be close to Hashem. For Nadav and Avihu, they didn't want to live in this world. They wanted to get away. Korach and his 250 people that were followers that also wanted to do that, they're described as being leaders, heads of Bnei Yisrael. They weren't simple, simple troublemakers like Dasan and Aviram. Dasan and Aviram were these were 250 very, very special people. And when they understood, and it wasn't a surprise to them that they died, they understood that this was, there's a good chance that they would die, and they were willing to risk it. Why? Because they wanted, having the ultimate kind of opportunity of closeness to Hashem, the way that they kind of, to go and do that, even if it means that my soul is going to leave my body, they were in. Of course, that was wrong for many reasons. One reason that was wrong was because they missed the point of the lesson also, again, from last week's Parsha, that the goal is to be in this world. So, a combination of mistakes there. But the idea of wanting to be a Levi is a good thing. In fact, when Mashiach comes, we're all going to be, our status of all of Bnei Yisrael is going to be elevated. It says that the Levium will be kind of at the level of Kohanim, and all of Bnei Yisrael will be at the level of Levium. So we'll all have an upgrade. Even with the upgrade, though, the guidelines of the Torah of who's allowed to, go into the temple. If you're a Kohen, Kohen Gadol, you can go in. The takeaway, or a takeaway, is it's good to want. We should learn from Korach. What we should learn is that we should want to be having that kind of relationship with Hashem. We should want the ultimate and highest spiritual experience. And that's a good desire. That's one takeaway. Another takeaway is that the way to go about it is not by pushing down Moshe and Aaron and saying, Moshe and Aaron, you should go down, and we're all, we're all the same. But the way to go about it is within the framework of Boker and Laila, within the framework of the boundaries that Hashem gives us in the Torah. Act within those boundaries, and our desire could be, I want to go into the Holy of Holies. I want to be at that highest level. But we have to still follow what those limits that Hashem put. And finally, had Korach, instead of fighting Moshe and Aaron, said, we want to be closer to you, Moshe and Aaron. Moshe and Aaron, could you spend more time with us? Maybe we can have a farbringen together. Yeah. We want that holiness that it should rub off on us more. We want to be close. That would be a good thing. We want to learn more from you. That would be a good thing. That's the Torah says that the sons of Korach didn't die. Bnei Korach lo mesu. The sons of Korach didn't die. So Korach, was swallowed up. Sons were swallowed up too, but they didn't die. And they came out. And the great families of Levium came from Korach. So the passion that Korach had was passed down, his sons, his grandsons, but in a corrected way. Korach's sons did teshuvah, They kept the passion. We want this, but we regret that we were kind of not doing it, kind of allowing this to go in the wrong way. The Levium would serve in the Beis HaMikdash. One of the things that they would do was sing. Singing is the expression, of wanting to be close to Hashem. Those feelings are expressed in song, in melodies. The action of the mitzvahs, you can do the action, and while the action was being done in the Beis HaMikdash, the Leviim would sing, and that was to inspire, to express the feelings and to inspire the feelings. And that's that passion of the Leviim continued, and that's something which we should all, like the Rambam says, we can all strive to have that. It can be a full-fledged Levi, kind of going all the way and dedicating your life completely to Hashem and to a life of service. But we can all do it at least at some level. Kind of have that passion to be closer and not be satisfied. Okay, I just I'll do what I need to do and that's it. But we should want to be closer. Recently, we had in the Hayam Yom the book, the calendar with every day with a message. That when it comes to matters of the worldly matters, being satisfied with what you have is ideal. When it comes to spiritual matters, being satisfied is the opposite of ideal. It's the worst. We're not supposed to be satisfied. We're supposed to strive and always want to be closer and strive for higher. That was a good thing. This Shabbos is the 3rd of Tammuz, the Rebbe's yahrzeit, 25 years. And the correlation, that the yahrzeit comes out to the Shabbos of Parshas Korach. Every year it's always connected to the Shabbos of Parshas Korach. A lesson about what it means to have a tzaddik, and on the one hand, the striving to be close to a tzaddik, and recognizing the value of a tzaddik. You can have, yes, in practice of the mitzvahs, we might all be doing the same, but recognizing there's the value of the kavanah, the higher part. And the way to be close to a tzaddik, valuing that relationship and that closeness and striving to be like the tzaddik, striving to be a Kohen Gadol. We can all strive to be a Rebbe, strive to want to be like the Rebbe, strive to want to be like the Kohen Gadol. And that's something which we should all try to emulate and want to be closer to. The Rebbe explained, based on the teachings of the Alter Rebbe, that Korach really, what he was asking for was the way things will be when Mashiach comes. All men were created equal idea was idea of Mashiach, that we'll all be, not only having the action great, but we'll have the kavanah, we'll have the feelings, the love and awe, we'll all experience prophecy, we'll all have that holy experience. And indeed, when Mashiach comes, we'll all have that, even though...
There's no point.
Well...
Because once Mashiach comes, there's no point in prophecy for all the people.
Well, not prophecy as in necessarily as in being able to say what the future is, but experiencing God's presence in a revealed way. If we compare it to turning on the lights. So now we're all in the physical world, and as far as godliness is concerned, we're all kind of in the dark. We read about it in the book. We hear a description from somebody else who's seen it. We hear when a prophet is describing something, well, the prophet is telling me what he saw. That's like a blind person who's he's hearing all about what everybody sees. But when Mashiach comes, all of us will have that consciousness and a level of connection to Hashem that will be like the level of a prophet who senses it. It doesn't just read about it, but feels it, and it's just as much real as that which we touch and see, and with our senses. The Hashem's presence will also be something that we sense with our bodies. We just kind of feel Hashem's presence. In that sense, we'll all experience that which Korach wanted, everyone to experience. But Korach was a little early, in his time. It wasn't yet the time. But we very soon will be granted that kind of experience that Korach was asking for. And the Rebbe often encouraged us and said, Hashem wants to hear us ask for it. Not like Korach, which was in a confrontational way, kind of, not accepting what Hashem says, but like the story of Pesach Sheni, where he said, we don't want to miss out. We want another chance. We also want to be close to you, Hashem. We want to have that experience. That's what we ask for. That's what we daven for, and we hope for, and that's what we should demand. And we ask Ad Masai, how much longer are we going to be in exile? We want to be taken out of exile already and have that relationship with you. And that's something which especially now, 25 years after the Rebbe's passing, when we 26, 27 years ago, 28 years ago, the Rebbe spoke very strongly about being ready for Mashiach and preparing ourselves to greet Mashiach, and that Mashiach is on his way, and that we're in the times of Mashiach, and like waiting for a bus, the later it gets, the more urgent it gets, and if the bus is on the way, the more sure you are, okay, well, we're already we've been waiting so long, it must be close. The problem with the bus is sometimes the bus just breaks down and it's not going to come. But Mashiach, it's been 25 years. Not only is if 25 years ago, the Rebbe said that Mashiach is on his way, how much more so now that we're very close to that time where we'll all be able to experience that Gam ani roitze bekach. I want this too, like Moshe Rabbeinu said. I want it, and when Mashiach will come, this will be the reality. So, happy Independence Day. And now I think maybe when we celebrate July 4th, we think about Mashiach. All men are created equal. We should all have that level of prophecy, not just the pursuit of happiness, but actually have the happiness, the ultimate happiness, with the coming of Mashiach. You're welcome.
Wasn't also part of it just wasn't it that he was just dissatisfied at his position and wanted more?
On a pshat level. Yeah, on the surface level, he wanted more. And the Rashi says that he felt slighted that he wasn't given a promotion. Being the older son of the older brother.
The other cousin that was given the Nasi.
Yeah, the Ali Tzafan, right? So he was like, there's something wrong, there's some injustice here about, he thought that there was some corruption in how Moshe Rabbeinu was handing out the positions. And
He was the richest man ever, even by today's standard.
Who was?
Korach.
The richest man.
The richest man. He found one of the 3 treasures hidden by Joseph. One was found by Solomon, one was found by Korach, and the third will be found by the Mashiach. And he was the richest. He had all the money. He had 150 donkeys with just the keys to the safe. Right? Is that what the Mishnah said?
I don't recall the details, but that sounds right. The idea of Korach wanting more, and that's another nice lesson about, the what is the strongest desires that people have. There's power, honor, money, right? Right. So you can be the richest person and still not be satisfied because you don't have enough honor. Right. And what happens if you have the ultimate in But that said, Korach was, and the 250 people are called the Rashi B'nai Yisrael, which is not just they were politically leaders of the people, but they were spiritually. The Torah calls them heads of the people. These were people that were in a very high spiritual level, and Korach, on a simple level, Korach wanted to, more honor, and there was a honor. He felt slighted that he wasn't given that position. But on a spiritual level, he wanted more closeness to Hashem. He wanted more opportunity for
He was one of the carriers of the ark. If you have a bad thought, if you're carrying the ark, you're dead.
Yes.
So, that is such a high, and he still wasn't satisfied.
And that's not the problem. Like I mentioned before, spiritually not being satisfied is a good thing. The problem was the way that he went about it.
Somebody else to lose theirs.
Right. Right. The accusing Moshe that this is Moshe's obstacle that's in his way of being closer to Hashem. Aaron is in the way, not realizing that Aaron is helping in the relationship. He thinks that Aaron is in the way of the relationship, and that was a mistake, unfortunate mistake that we get to learn from. But to want to be higher, that's great. That's welcome.
Saying